Welcome to BaseballGuys.com. I'm your host on Around the Horn, Ray Flowers. Let's start with Jose Bautista. 40 home runs, 100 RBIs, 100 runs scored each of the past 2 seasons. He's not going to get to any of those 3 totals this year. Why is that? That wrist injury of his. Sent him to the disabled list. He came back from a couple of games, has been placed back on the disabled list, and now we're learning that he will have surgery on that wrist ending his 2012 season. Here's the good news. The good news is he should be healthy for the start of next season. The bad news is wrist and hand injuries tend to sap power from players. So keep a close eye on how he performs in the preseason next year to see if that power stroke has returned. Because again, the 40 home runs are really what separates him from other players. Another fact that separates him from other players is his multi-position eligibility. He will not have that next season. Only 5 games played in the infield this year. He will only be outfield eligible next season. So we got a guy coming back from wrist surgery. We got a guy who's only outfield eligible next season. And we also have a player who has a 253 career batting average. 253, folks. He's hitting 241 this season. Only 1 season in his career has he had even 265. Remember that. Don't go overboard on draft day next year. Jose Bautista, producer in the counting categories, but still someone who had his faults. Matt Kemp doesn't have many faults in terms of his fantasy value. The number 1 pick by many, not me, but by many this season, has had multiple setbacks with that hamstring of his. Since he's returned to action, he's looked very good. He's hit 324 with 5 home runs, 26 RBIs, 30 runs scored, and 6 steals in 42 games, basically a quarter of a season. So he's on pace for 20, 100, 120, 20. I mean, very, very good. Not the levels of last year, but still very impressive. Now, the bad news with Kemp is he ran into the fence last night, injured himself. The good news is tests on his knee, on his head, on his neck, his jaw, all that kind of stuff, all came back negative. He's not in the starting lineup on Wednesday for the Dodgers. They don't anticipate him missing much time. He should be back out there. He's always shown an ability, until this season at least, to play through injury. Todd Frazier, all this concern about Todd Frazier. Joey Votto's close to return, maybe in the next couple days, maybe over the weekend Votto will be back. What's going to happen to Todd Frazier? Is he going to become a bench player? Are you so crazy? There's no way Todd Frazier is going to the bench. Dusty Baker does some odd things, but he's not stupid. Over the last quarter of the season, 44 games played, Todd Frazier is hitting .314 with a .919 OPS. Those are elite numbers. If that wasn't good enough, have you seen what he's been doing in the month of August? 6 home runs, 25 RBIs, and an OPS of over 1,000 in August. Todd Frazier's not losing at bats when Joey Votto comes back. The big loser is probably going to be Scott Rowland. They will find a way to get time for Frazier at first, at third, and in the outfield. Continue to roll with him. That rookie is absolutely matching it right now for the Reds. Wade Miley, another young player who's having a ton of success. 14 victories, a .285 ERA, a .110 WHIP. He has been an absolutely dynamic first full season option for the Diamondbacks. What do I think? I'm still a bit concerned. Now, he's been great this year. Maybe he's one of these guys that knows how to pitch so well that he can kind of repeat the numbers and have success even though the numbers don't tend to agree with him. Why do I say that? The only thing that he does well, and he does it extremely well, is limit the walks about a batter and a half per 9 innings. That's it, folks. Everything else he does, pretty much league average or worse. 1.38 ground ball fly ball ratio, slightly better than league average. The strikeout rate per 9 is about a batter below the league average. The line drive rate of 22% is worse than the league average. Like I said, there's a lot going on here that, paints him as someone that, shouldn't be a 2.9 ERA guy, but maybe a 3.9 ERA guy. He's rolling now. Not a lot of signs of that cracking, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of fade here at the end of the season, and I would not be expecting a repeat of the numbers he posted this year in 2013. Wilin Rosario is another guy who's going to have a hard time repeating the numbers he posted up this season, but they have been phenomenal. He leads all National League catches with 22 home runs. He's only got 268 at-bats. A 40-plus home run pace if he was an outfielder or someone who was playing every day. Damn impressive for the youngster from the Rockies. Now, why do I say he's not going to repeat this kind of power production next season? Well, he's got a 27% home run to fly ball ratio. Occasionally, players will hit that level, but it's very, very rare, and only a handful of players ever sustain that level. Rosario is going to need to sustain that elite level if he's going to continue to be this big of a home run threat, because his fly ball ratio is 37%. It's basically league average. So he hits the same amount of fly balls as pretty much any player in the league. The only way he's going to generate those home runs is to keep that home run to fly ball ratio high. In fact, he's got almost a 48% ground ball rate, which is huge for a guy who has no speed and lives on the home run. So when everything's going right as it is right now, Rosario's going to be a massive power bat. I wouldn't be expecting him to, again, repeat this rate next season. with a little more playing time, there's a shot for him to get to 30 home runs next year if the Rockies give him more work. Drake Holland has been getting a lot of work for the Royals, and he's done a very good job with that work. Since being named the closer, he's really done a good job with Jonathan Broxton being sent to the Reds. Over his last 10 outings, Holland has 7 saves and 2 victories. He's also been almost unscored upon, dropping his ERA down to 2.89, more than a strikeout an inning, more than a strikeout an inning this year. He's been a very, very good reliever. The only thing he doesn't do well, and the concern with Holland, is his ability to throw strikes. That high walk rate of his has led to a 1.40 whip, which is not good. Everything else looks very good with Holland. He just knocks those strikeouts down to really be on to something there in the 9th inning for the Royals. And then finally, Yovani Gallardo. He's on to something, folks. Allowed 1 run last night in his start on Tuesday. That's 6 straight victories for him. In those 6 outings, he's allowed a total of 9 runs. He's dropped his ERA into the 3.5. He's dropped his whip into the 1.2. And he's got 172 strikeouts on the year, doing what he always does. Hot, cold, hot, cold. But you know at the end, Gallardo is going to be a big-time producer. He's up to 14 victories. His ERA and his whip are darn near identical to the totals he posted last season, as is his strikeout per 9 rate. He's there. He's frustrating to own at times, but right now, Yovani Gallardo absolutely blazing it up for the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm Ray Flowers, BaseballGuys.com. Thanks for joining me on Around the Horn. Talk to you all again soon.